Hi everyone, it's 1 o'clock and 44 minutes here on IC Radio, and I'm Sophia.
And I'm Yaz. Welcome back to Science at One, where we bring you the best science news, gossip and analysis.
And the best music. On our playlist today we have some pop, rock and soul music.
And on the science menu,
we'll be learning about offshore wind. Here's a clip.
To 80% reduction would be a huge achievement, and even to get to that requires a sort of, a machine gun full of silver bullets, not just one silver bullet.
And Angus will be joining us here in the studio.
Well, speaking of wind, Layla's got a story on storm naming, and Tom is back in the studio after last year with Spot the Bot.
That's all between now and 2:44ish. Sorry about the delay, but it's worth the wait here on Science at One.
Well, Yaz, you're a little bit upset today. Why are you upset?
I am. I'm about to rant, guys. Buckle up. I opened up my news app on my computer, and I just saw the top story is that they've got the BBC reveals that there's a 22-year-old TikTok star who's been unveiled as Blue Peter's 43rd host, and they've got like a presenting shake-up, and I'm upset because I want the job. And she's our age, well, she's 22, and it's just like, it's kind of like, oh, why didn't they ask me? Why did I not know that they were hiring? I could have stormed up at the studios and been like, sign me.
Oh, come and finish your masters first, at least. I don't want you to leave. But, when you said that, I was even more upset because I'm 24, so I'm already 2 years older than her, and I'm just here. Not that I'm not very happy to be on student radio, but it would be so cool to be on Blue Peter.
I know, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's like a dream job, and I don't know. Do you know what? We should just take it as like an inspiring thing. We'll get there. Everyone's got their own journey in life.
Yeah, I think that's a good note to end our conversation about Blue Peter on and go to some music. So today we've got Asleep by Hartom.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away, as you fade away. As you fade away. trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away. Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey.
That was Asleep by Hatom, and now for the news. A volcano has erupted in Iceland for the second time in a month. After weeks of earthquakes, there was a powerful volcanic eruption near the town of Grindavik on the 18th of December. But this time, a fissure formed just 100 metres from the town, and houses have been engulfed by lava and set alight. The town's 3,800 people had been evacuated in advance of the first eruption, and Iceland's president has said that no lives are in danger, although infrastructure may be under threat.
Wow. And the 7.6 magnitude earthquake on New Year's Day in Japan has shifted its coastline by over 800 feet, so 250 metres. Satellite images have revealed. In Japan's Noto Peninsula, 2 football pitches worth of new beach has been revealed and harbours have been left dry.
Now let's move away from Earth to space. A gigantic ring-shaped structure of galaxies has been discovered by scientists at the University of Central Lancashire. This galaxy structure, which is 1.3 billion light-years in diameter, is so huge that it challenges our understanding of the universe. The cosmological principle is a guiding principle in astronomy and states that matter is spread smoothly across the universe, and so structures like this that are so big should not exist. This is the 7th large structure discovered in the universe that contradicts this idea that the cosmos is smooth on the larger scales. But the question remains, how are these large structures created?
Yeah, and keeping on the space topic, NASA has delayed a crewed return to the moon's surface from 2025 to September 2026 at the earliest. So humans have not been on the surface of the moon since 1972, would you believe? The delay of this mission, known as Artemis 3, was caused by not yet having a craft ready or spacesuits the astronauts can wear. NASA says that safety will take a priority, as they should, and they won't fly until they're ready. Plus, the extra time until launch will enable further technology developments, which is always good.
And now for some news here at Imperial College London. Researchers at Imperial have mapped the role of a group of enzymes that could be key for developing new medicines in cancer and immunology. They used a click chemistry technique, which is a way to join molecules together efficiently. It's a technique you might have heard of because click chemistry won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. And the team at Imperial used a method called bump and hole, which involves putting a hole into an enzyme and a bump into the lipid so that they fit together. They then combine this technology with the click chemistry so that any protein receiving the bumped lipid from this enzyme will be tagged. So this method allows the identification of the specific proteins that the enzyme modifies for the first time. So proteins which are related to this disease, different kinds of cancers, can in future be targeted indirectly by inhibiting this associated enzyme that we now know more about.
Yeah, researchers at Imperial have found that low and controlled doses of morphine may reduce coughing from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. That's a mouthful. This condition causes scarred lungs and breathing problems, which becomes increasingly difficult. And up to 85% of patients suffer with chronic coughing. Researchers found that morphine reduced cough frequency when the patients were awake by almost 40%. So although patients reported side effects such as nausea, no withdrawal symptoms from the morphine were documented. Researchers hope that this treatment will improve the quality of life for patients with pulmonary fibrosis. So lots of research going on at Imperial College London. Well, that's it for the news. I think we summed it up quite quickly, very efficiently, but that's what you get at Science 101. So back to the music now, and here's We Won't Leave You by Steve Void and Science.
Well, I croaked, what does it lack? And when she said maybe my will she did right. Maybe we'll be gone tomorrow. Maybe we won't be the same. But for now in the sun I feel happy. She's giving me a cocoa
anymore like yesterday, 'cause we're running out now. You can see it in our eyes, we won't look away. This time we're here to stay, so we're running out now. We're fighting, we collide, crashing every day. And if you feel afraid, we won't leave you. Time has come to stand our ground and close the door. Paralyzed stereotypes on dark minds. Every day there's a choice where to go. You can
Belting out songs that were cooked in our minds. Maybe we'll be gone tomorrow. And maybe we won't feel the same. But for now in the sun I feel happy with her. She's giving me a cocoa rain.
crashing every day. And if you feel afraid, we won't leave you. We won't leave you. There's a man sitting next to you with a scarf around his head, and when it's down to the last end, he could be the one that saves you. And there's a woman driving in a car, and she talking her phone when you're crossing the street, and she could be the one that kills you. You can see it in her eyes that we won't look away. This time we're here to stay, so we're running out now. We fight, we collide, crashing every day. And if you feel afraid, we won't leave you.
So, with the extreme cold snap that we've recently experienced, I'm experiencing it right now every time I go outside, and the series of heavy rainy storms since the beginning of this year, leading to record amounts of flooding around the UK, we'll now shift our attention to something that we might not often think about, which is the naming of these storms. So, I'd like to welcome Layla to the studio.
Hello guys, how are you guys? Hope you're all doing well.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with a question. So do you guys remember or know the name of the storm that's been causing all these floods around the UK this month?
So, are you talking about Storm Henk?
Yes, exactly. So
I was thinking Hank in my head before, but it's Henk.
yes, exactly. So Storm Henk. So it's interesting how these storms get their names. So the practice actually started in the 1950s in the United States. They began naming storms to make them more relatable and easier for the public to follow. It's a bit like putting a face to a name. So it's not just like a random selection of names. And so yeah, in the UK, the Met Office, along with Ireland and Met's Iran, any Irish folks around, so please correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. And yes, since 2019, the Dutch Weather Service collaboratively named the storms. They often choose names that have some significance, like honoring scientists, meteorologists, and public safety workers. It's all about creating a personal connection and making these weather events more tangible.
Oh, that's quite nice. I like that, like, you're paying a bit more attention to them and it doesn't seem as abstract.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. So there's a there's a practical aspect to it as well. So by naming storms, this is a bit of a hard one. Meteorologists can communicate more effectively about the severity and potential impact of these weather events, helping the public to prepare and stay safe.
I guess, I was going to say, I guess, like, with names like Henk, we're not just talking about an abstract weather pattern, but something that feels more immediate and urgent.
Yeah. So, like, when there's, like, a name to it, like, even though, like, a storm, maybe not for everyone, but, like, some of us might seem like a small thing, it's like a casual storm, it always happens. Naming these storms play a big role in weather reporting and public safety. It transforms a complex meteorological phenomenon into something we can easily discuss and understand. And there's actually been studies on this. So, like, on Twitter, on social media platforms, when we put names onto our storms, public discourse increases. So there's a lot more interaction. There's a lot more communication about the severity and the importance of the precautions that we need to take, basically.
Oh, that's great. So it's like a blend of science and public engagement, which, as science communicators, I think we all appreciate on this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a form of public communication. And so the next time you hear about the storm, like Henk, remember it's not just a name, but a crucial part of our collective response to severe weather.
Yeah, wow, that was so interesting, Layla.
Thank you.
Also, just a quick question. Do they name it based on the scientists that found the storm?
No. So the Met Office, for example, in the UK, so it's publicly accessible. So like I said here, so it's like the name of scientists, meteorologists, and public safety workers. But then there's also, you could go in yourself and you could put your name in a box. And one day your name even can be selected as the next storm name. So this is only specific to the UK context. It's different in different countries, but yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Layla. We'll have Angus in the studio to discuss his piece, but first some music. Here's Runaway by Newport Maggie York.
Clouds are stirring up the sky. I was always in denial of what I saw right in front of me. And every time I'm so damn lost to what I loved and what I lost. But let's get lost in love tonight. Hear a second voice inside my head. It's telling me to stay the night again and hold on to the words we always said would be forever, forever. Wait another day to clear my thoughts, so jump into a love that won't be forgotten. Forever, forever. Let's run away together. Let's run away together. Let's run away together. I wanna run away with you. Let's run away together. Let's run away. Let's run away together. Let's run away. Swear we never say goodbye. Fall asleep to lullabies with something that I thought I'd never find. And what is right and what is wrong, and all I ever saw was love. But let's get lost in love tonight. Hear a second voice inside my head. It's telling me to stay the night again and hold on to the words we always said would be forever, forever. Wait another day to clear my thoughts, so jump into a love that won't
Well, that was a really interesting piece we had before about storms. Have any of you been have been affected by the storms? By the way, we've got Angus in the studio now, so we're going to chat to him a little bit. But yeah, have you had any experiences?
Well, the flooding has been really, really bad recently, and so like as I'm a rower, we've had to basically do land training and not go out onto the water because the Thames. Well, basically, there's this thing called the stream for people who don't know, and when it's too strong, you get like a red flag warning kind of thing, and that means that you're not allowed on the water. So we're not. No clubs are allowed to row on the Thames because the stream's too strong, and it's very dangerous to row against that. Especially if you fall in, it will just take you, and yeah, there's no coming back from that. And that's because the water's so high, and when it's so high, it's so strong, and it will just pull you. And if you see pictures online of Henley, which is this really, really famous place for rowing, and you know the Henley Royal Regatta is very big. The water is so high, it's just basically flooded the boathouse clubs which sit along the bank, damaging the whole club, the boats inside it, which are worth tens of thousands of pounds. So British Rowing have basically, they have this support fund for clubs that have been affected by the floods, which you can sign up for online and get some funding to repair the damage to your club. So it's really affecting sport. But yeah.
Yeah, and I know how much you love rowing as well, and like how important it is if you're rowing at that kind of level to keep going every day. So.
Yeah, and it's really hard because then you can't train. And then there's this big race coming up called Quinton Head, which everyone really does along the Thames, and there's talk. I don't think it will go ahead, but they'll let us know by Friday because the race is on Saturday. Because I think it's going to be too dangerous and the water's going to be too hard to row on. But yeah, it's affecting a lot. We haven't actually had a race this season. The season started in October, and Falls Head was cancelled. Like all the races have been cancelled due to weather and due to the
So that's a good few months.
Yeah, and this year, this week should be the first race within 6 months. We've had no racing. So it's a bit concerning, but I think
impact.
Yeah, I think this race will be cancelled also. But yeah, it's a bit hard.
Well, hopefully you'll be getting back in the boat and racing soon. And that takes us, because you know these storms and stuff may well have been caused by climate change, and I think that leads us really nicely into our next piece. So we have Angus in the studio, who's going to be talking a bit about offshore wind. We're going to play the piece first, but I mean, Angus, would you like to give us a little introduction to what the piece is about?
Yeah, so it's a little piece about offshore wind and the kind of role it plays in the UK's energy transition to net zero. Kind of also raising the question, is net zero really what we should be aiming for? Is it at all possible? But yeah, I'll let the piece kind of discuss it a little bit more. But yeah, it was good fun making it, and definitely opened my eyes to the possibilities, benefits, limitations of offshore wind.
Oh, I'm really excited. I mean, renewable energy is something I'm super interested in. I used to work in the battery industry, still do a little bit. But anyway, let's have a listen to the piece, and then we'll chat to Angus afterwards.
Not only is Dogger famous for being a staple on Radio 4's nightly shipping forecast, but the UK's eastern sandbank is now host to a world-breaking Goliath. Over on this windswept and inhospitable coastline, something remarkable is happening.
General synopsis 1800.
Dogger Bank Wind Farm is the world's largest offshore wind farm, or will be when it's fully constructed. I'm Alan Borland. I am the Senior Project Manager for Dogger Bank Wind Farm. It's located between 150 and 200 kilometres off the east coast of the UK. Once complete, it will generate 3.6 gigawatts of electricity, which will be around about 5% of the UK's electricity demand, so the equivalent of the electricity needed to power 6 million UK homes.
So why is offshore wind such a good method for generating electricity?
If you look at, I guess, what's commonly called the energy trilemma, so achieving net zero, security of supply and cost to consumers, offshore wind offers benefits for all three of those areas of concern. Obviously, it's producing clean energy. by having it not requiring, I guess, fuel and not having that dependency on the import of gas, on coal, it secures the supply of electricity for the UK. And then in terms of cost of energy, well, Dogger Bank is an example, and just, I guess, offshore wind as a whole is one of the lowest cost forms of electricity that we can produce.
If offshore wind is reliable, affordable and sustainable, why would anyone be against it, and why are we still using fossil fuels? Back on the firm concrete of London, where the sea seems a long way away, I'm walking the vibrant streets of Camden to meet with someone who can provide me with some answers.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm a senior campaigner at climate charity Possible, where we call for solutions to tackle the climate crisis, which also improve people's lives. But there's a huge amount of polling evidence showing that actually people do like wind, people like clean energy, people understand the importance of ending use of fossil fuels, and people are actually quite happy to have new wind projects built near them.
Could we just talk a little bit about why we are still so ingrained in fossil fuels when there are alternatives out there?
That's a really good question, and it's a particularly good question when it comes to getting fossil fuels out of our energy supply, because the alternatives to generating electricity with fossil fuels are cheaper. People really like them, they're relatively quick to get going, and we really should be making much quicker progress on things like wind and solar power than we are. Every missed opportunity to get more renewables commissioned and starting to get built and come online is really something that we can't afford, given how urgent all of this is in the face of the climate emergency.
So not only do people want more wind energy, but it's also desperately needed. If, like Alan said, Dogger Bank's going to provide electricity for 5% of UK homes, then we just need to build 19 more? And we'll be able to provide clean, cheap and green energy to all of the UK's homes. So what's the hold-up?
The big challenge with building offshore wind is you want a wind farm in a place where it's windy. The challenge with that is being windy means that it's difficult to install. So I think there's a policy and there's a framework part, but actually they also take time to develop. Dogger Bank, if you look at that, that's 277 turbines. These are massive endeavours. They are huge projects.
Okay, so perhaps they're bigger challenges than I realised. It's urgent to get more offshore wind built to help slow down climate change, but building them is a pretty mammoth task. Before you feel a little defeated, over at Imperial College London, one researcher sheds a little optimism on the subject.
Please mind the doors. Going up.
So I'm Phil Heptonstall. I'm a research fellow here at Imperial College. My main research interests focus on the economics and policy of large-scale power generation. I think we should be extraordinarily proud about what we've achieved in the UK in terms of offshore wind. Until very recently, we were the world leader in offshore wind in terms of installed capacity, and the only country that now beats us is China, and given the size of China, that's nothing to be ashamed about.
So how complicated would it be to decarbonise our energy infrastructure?
The blunt answer is it's very complicated because we need to do lots of everything. It's not enough just to do lots and lots of offshore wind. It's not enough to do lots of nuclear or PV or onshore wind or biomass or hydro. We have to do them all, and we need a solution for aviation, for shipping, for transport, for heating. All of those things require different policy interventions. So yeah, we need to do all of the above.
So a lot more complicated than just plonking a big turbine out in the middle of the sea.
Yeah, and plonking a big turbine out in the middle of the sea is really hard and complicated and requires huge amounts of engineering expertise. So even if you're going to do all those things, you've still got all these other issues to worry about.
Meanwhile, Ali has a very clear idea on where the UK's offshore wind industry should be heading.
The UK is really lucky that we have really excellent wind resources. We're very lucky to have so many coasts where we can put offshore wind, and really we should be making better use of them. And this would be really good for the economy, for jobs, for the green industries of the future that we really need to support.
There are glimpses of the future down here on the other side of the country. On a chilly December day, I'm crossing the shingles of Brighton Beach, looking out at the faint red lights of Rampion Wind Farm flickering in the distance. With 116 turbines and a 400 megawatt capacity, it's smaller than its Dogger counterpart, but still enough to power 350,000 British homes. If offshore wind champions are to be believed, this will be a big part in reaching net zero, but back at Imperial College London, Phil doesn't see any silver bullets anytime soon. and I think I probably already know the answer to this, but is there one silver bullet in increasing the speed at which the UK reaches fossil-free?
I don't think there's a silver bullet. Because the reality is, I think getting to 80% reduction would be a huge achievement, and even to get to that requires a sort of, a machine gun full of silver bullets, not just one silver bullet. So I always say to people who ask me, I say, well, what do we need to be doing? I say, well, everything, and now, because we can't just wait for the power system to be decarbonised and then worry about decarbonising the steel production and cement production and vehicles and air travel and shipping. We need to be doing all at the same time, otherwise it won't happen quick enough. However, if we're going to get anywhere near it, offshore wind is going to play a major part in that, but it won't just be offshore wind.
General synopsis, 1800, high 300 miles west.
Okay, you can go.
Wow, what an interesting piece, Angus, and really relevant to just everything in the world today that's going on. So where did your inspiration for the topic come from?
So there was a kind of couple of topics I was thinking about doing. One of them was water quality in rivers, and then the other was looking at a new wetsuit that a surf company had made using kind of natural occurring rubber. And I was just looking at these ideas, and I was just kind of struggling to formulate them, so I had a look online and kind of seeing what else was going on, and I was on a science website and I saw that the world's largest offshore wind farm would start generating electricity, and I thought it was going to be somewhere like China or somewhere like that, but it was off the UK, and I thought actually that's super interesting, and my cousin also works in offshore wind, and I thought, okay, if I can try and interview someone from that wind farm, potentially also get my cousin involved, and I've already got 2 interviews. Hopefully they can kind of be gatekeepers, and the thing would roll from there. Unfortunately, my cousin did air me when I dropped her a message, but that's family for you. But yeah, that's kind of where the inspiration came from, and I'm big into kind of the environment and climate and all of those sorts of things, so I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. So that's really, kind of where the inspiration and ideas came from. But the story itself definitely unfolded as the interviews and the process went on. I'm not entirely sure I had a clear idea of what I was kind of trying to do with that first interview, and I was really letting him kind of lead the way and, kind of seeing which avenues he opened up, which, streets he wanted to explore, and then I arranged my subsequent interviews after that. But yeah, that's really where the sort of inspiration of it came from. It was kind of an interest and an inquisitiveness into the topic.
Yeah, and I think that really reminds us of what we're learning in this course. So we're all doing science media production, and it's I think it's really easy to find things that you're interested in, like topics, but it's about finding the story and having it emerge as you go through an interview, and then having to be thinking about the story all the time, because having an interesting topic, which is really easy to do, loads of science is interesting, it can only get you so far, and then having those contacts. But then if even your cousin's airing you, it is really difficult sometimes to find people to speak to.
Yeah, I think I probably sent out like 20 emails in total.
Wow.
When I got about three interviews. Someone then offered to interview later, but they were just kind of waffling about quite a lot, kind of flip-flopping between dates and then cancelling, and I just thought, I can't keep doing this. So it was like 20 emails for like 3 interviews, but I guess that's, I feel like those are the sorts of procedures and methods to these sorts of things that you can't possibly tell just from listening to that 7-minute piece. You can't tell how difficult it was to get interviewees. So that was definitely a big learning experience, and kind of like what you were saying just about interesting topics. I think it's super interesting as well that something that kind of sounds interesting doesn't always necessarily translate into an interesting story.
Yeah,
if that makes sense,
you've
and
got to
vice
find
versa.
that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, because you're talking about learning, was there anything that you learned while making the piece that surprised you?
It was definitely the timetabling and the scheduling of things. All of a sudden, it was like, okay, hang on, we've got a week and a half to do this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was like, wait, okay, I should probably crack on with this. The editing was good fun, actually. It's probably more straightforward than I thought it was going to be. So that was a learning experience. But I think just, I've done a little bit of interviewing before, but I always am kind of taken aback at how difficult it is that you're listening, but you're also thinking of the next questions to ask.
It's hard to ask a question and actually listen to what they're saying, because you're thinking about other stuff
Yeah.
in a way, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh gosh, is the sound okay, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what's the
absolutely.
next follow-up question, and then you're like, oh wait, they've answered the question, but I've not actually fully absorbed what they've said.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden
And
they finish the question and you're like,
oh wait, what?
oh wait, what did they
Did
just
you
say?
just...
And you know what I've been finding? So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and when I lose focus, I just press the back button, and it takes me about 15 seconds. And sometimes when I'm doing stuff like this, I forget I can't do that when I'm live on the radio or
Sorry,
when I'm
can you
interviewing
just-
somebody.
Can you just repeat everything that you just said?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, did this change your mind about anything to do with fuel and the energy industry in general?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose I was probably a little bit naive going into it, just thinking, why are we not, building more renewables and all of this, which is definitely a thing. We've had years and years and years to be building more renewables, and it's definitely been on the back burner. But as Phil was saying, there is a lot going on now. I'm not sure that entirely makes up for the last kind of 25 years of inactivity.
I think it's kind of like, oh gosh, we're going to run out of fossil fuels anytime now.
Yeah, playing catch up.
We got to kind of we need to have renewable.
Yeah. But he makes a very good point. Actually, I was just thinking about kind of domestic energy supply. But how are you going to power a plane? How are you going to power the heating in your home?
Can we do that? Can we power a plane with renewable energy? Because if we can, then that's great.
I think air travel is a long way off renewables. I think you can kind of single that out as something. I mean, Sophia probably knows better than I do.
Well, yeah, so I as I said before, I used to work in the sort of battery and electric vehicle industry, and the way forward for electric vehicles in terms of cars, that's fairly straightforward compared to stuff with planes. And with other things like planes and maritime as well, like big ships, I think it's going to be batteries in combination with a lot of stuff. So you'll have the batteries to store some level of renewable energy, stuff from wind, like Angus has been talking about, but also solar and other renewable energy sources. But then batteries can get quite heavy. If you've got a battery that's big enough to power a plane or power a ship, that can be really heavy. The materials might be too expensive to fund those sort of things. So it might need to be in combination with other kinds of renewable technology, like hydrogen. And actually, when I was in the battery industry, there's always been almost like a fight between batteries and hydrogen and whether or not that's going to be the main thing going forward. And I think batteries are extremely, extremely important, but it's not going to be batteries are solving absolutely everything. I think it just needs to be working together with all these different industries to just get the best possible outcome. And if that means using a few different kinds of technology in a plane or in a big ship,
a kind of hybrid
then we can do
situation.
it. Yeah, exactly.
But even if you have these technologies, there's still a question of policy involved in that.
Definitely.
So we could say let's just build a bunch of offshore and onshore wind, but actually then you have NIMBYism. You have people saying that they don't want their coastlines spoilt by kind of big turbines off the coast. And then even with electric vehicles, you're seeing it now. Like the government's pushing for electric vehicles, but not necessarily supporting the use of them. They're not having enough kind of charging points. All of those sorts of things. You've got. Yeah, so whilst you're kind of making technological advancements, I think they're still
expensive.
Yeah, super expensive. You still need to kind of make sure that the policy and the finance also stacks up. So yeah, it's a super complicated issue. And like Phil said, I don't think there's any kind of silver bullets to an energy transition, but we've just got to use of every kind of policy instrument, financial instrument, technological instrument at our disposal.
Yeah, and research to make things better as well, like carrying on making it better. If you're not happy with how much it costs, do more research to make sure it costs less, because otherwise at the end of it, consumers aren't going to buy it if they can't afford it.
No, absolutely.
Wow. I actually love your piece because I think it's so relevant to right now in terms of renewable energy and wind. I think it's something that we don't talk about enough, like right now. I think, yeah, especially with COP just wrapping up as well. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to time it in with a little bit of
Dubai.
that, the big meeting of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a talking shop, but maybe I'm being a cynic. But yeah, I kind of also wanted to time it in with that and looking at what COP was going to kind of agree on, and that was also another thing I was quite interested in. And my second interviewee, she was talking quite a lot about COP, and that was another thing about you go into these interviews, you're not entirely sure the agenda of these people you're interviewing, and she was really pushing COP and kind of bashing the government a little bit and all these things, which is super interesting, but it's quite difficult to then make a story out of that. But yeah, COP was definitely on my mind when I was making this.
Yeah, and it's hard if you're not making a piece that's overtly political, and you're not having a piece then it's really hard to keep it neutral in a way, or to not say this is my view through my piece, if you're talking about something like COP, which is very political, or can be.
Well, yeah, thanks, Angus.
Well, yeah, thanks so much for
Yeah,
having me.
thank you for being here. Now for some more music. Here's Coat for the Rain by Pandalion.
I met a girl by the side of the road. She offered me tea, but I shook my head no. See, I'd been warned off of girls of her type. They'll give you their smile, but take your whole life. She looked me all up and down with nut-colored eyes and gave me a reason I could not deny. She said she'd been wasting and wanting a friend. She was in a song that she couldn't. She was lucky, or maybe it was fate, but she'd met a singer who could relate. I followed her down her forested path. We got to her portion, she said with a laugh, you know, I'd been thinking of staying inside. Not my whole life, so I know how to hide. She poured me a cup and she sang me her song, and when she was done, I just looked at her long. My eyes and a tear in my heart. With one little tug she could pull me apart. Well, I croaked, what does it lack? And when she said me, my will she did crack. Maybe we'll be gone tomorrow, and maybe we won't be the same. But for now in the sun I feel happy with her. She's given me a coat for the rain. When I'm the one found, spent the day living and planning the next. When the night fell, we could lay down to rest, trading our clothes in the warm summer shine, cooking up breakfast in the morning sublime, sharing our words and our hearts in our hands, mending our souls as well as the land, working up sweat in the garden outside, and belting out songs that were cooped in our minds. Maybe we'll be gone tomorrow, and maybe we won't feel the same. But for now in the sun I feel happy with her. She's given me a coat for the rain. Maybe we'll be gone tomorrow, and maybe we won't feel the same. But for now in the sun I feel happy again. She's given me a coat for the rain.
Hi everyone, you're listening to IC Radio and this is Science at 1 with me, Sophia.
And me, Yaz. And still to come, Tom is joining us for Spot the Bot.
Yeah, you love a bit of ChatGPT, don't you, Yaz?
That's how I'm at Imperial. I have used ChatGPT to get to where I am today.
It's good that I think our lecturer's on a flight at the moment.
Maybe shouldn't have revealed that live on air. It was completely a joke. I've never used it, I promise.
For the first assignment we had to do, we had to use ChatGPT. That was in the rules. It was
Do you know what? I'll just reveal it. I used ChatGPT to to write my essay analysing ChatGPT. Oh God, it's all right. I got my marks. They can't.
Well, how self-aware was ChatGPT?
It it struggled to be critical of its own work. If you get me.
I think that's the same about humans, isn't it? I'm quite proud. I'm like, no.
I feel like ChatGPT
really
is a human. Like
Yeah.
I when I ask it something, I'm like, hey, how are you? And then ask a question, and then I'm like, thank you. Okay, bye.
Oh, you're so polite to ChatGPT.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Some people are like, explain this.
Yeah, I think that's
this.
more me. Maybe when the robots rise up, you'll be saved, and I won't.
They'll be like, Yaz, I remember you when you were asking me questions about your essay.
Aw.
And you were so nice. We won't kill you.
Maybe that's what I'll do. We have like a narrative assignment to do about writing a little story. Maybe I'll do mine on that.
Going to ask
What would happen if robots rose up?
I thought you were going to say you're going to ask ChatGPT to write you a story, and I was like,
No.
I'm on it too. But can't say that.
Well, anyway, and still to come, we've got some more music before we have Tom joining us for Spot the Bot. So here is Riverside.
So we've got Tom here with us. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
He's going to be playing a little game with us called Spot the Bot. Explain yourself.
Explain myself. Yeah, Spot the Bot. So we're back again. It feels like forever since I've done this segment.
It doesn't feel long enough, actually. I'm joking.
But this is where we put you against ChatGPT.
GPT, Tom.
Oh, I thought I said
you always
it right.
do it, and it's really cute.
Oh.
It's like it's the one word you can't say, and it's the one segment you do every week.
I'm like, why do they call it ChatGPT?
ChatGPT.
GPT. It's so hard to say.
What does GPT stand for? I'm going to look that up while you guys chat.
GPT. It's so hard to say. Anyway,
This is why we called it Spot the Bot, so I didn't have to say it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this week we have for you, I have for you, pubs.
Oh.
Pubs in London.
Okay.
So I've got a list of quirky names of pubs from London, and some of them are real pubs, and some of them have been made up by that generative AI thing that I can't say.
Oh, and that made you feel so conscious about it. Tom just looks at me like I'm not going to say
If it's helpful, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, so maybe you could say that.
Yeah, that seems easier, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. On to our first pub, maybe.
Yes.
Laughing Gravy.
No.
I think
that's ChatGPT.
I would have named a pub that. I think it's funny.
No.
Yeah.
Final votes.
ChatGPT.
Okay.
Humans.
It's real.
Yeah.
It is real.
Why am I so bad at this game? I use ChatGPT every day of my life.
Yeah, so 1 point to Sophia. We have it's a reference to a 1931 Laurel and Hardy film where the comedy duo unsuccessfully try to hide their dog, which is called Laughing Gravy, from their landlord.
Oh.
So yeah, the pub has been named by the owners, so that's what they have that connection to it. The next one then for you The Queen's teeth.
I think that's ChatGPT because
I don't know if you're
British
allowed...
people I don't know if we're allowed.
allowed to diss the Queen.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Is it dissing the Queen?
The Queen's teeth.
Yeah, I mean we have like the Queen's head, the Queen's arms.
But the Queen's head
so
is
true.
but the Queen's head is on a stamp. It's like more regal. Like you already see the Queen's head on your stamps, on your coins.
Well,
the teeth.
It's
seems-
like
She doesn't have teeth on the stamp, does she?
I don't think she has teeth. Well, had. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Can't say
Had.
that. Oh, I really don't know.
Go on, vote.
I
Tim.
think ChatGPT.
Yeah, you're both right on that
Yay! Oh my god. I'm so
one. Okay,
happy.
similar theme. The bishop's finger.
True.
Oh, I don't know about this one.
I just went for true, and I'm going to stay with true.
I
As a
think
human.
that's ChatGPT.
This one's true.
Oh, so we're even now.
We're
even. I'm
This
gonna win
is in
this. I'm
Smithfield,
going to win this.
near Smithfield Market, and it's named after a popular strong ale produced by the Shepherd Neame Brewery.
I'm going to
So there
put
we
that
go.
on my list of beers to try. I've got a big list. I don't like beer, but I've been having sips
I
of
hate
people's
it.
beers for years, and I've been trying to put them in a list. And one day we'll try all of them, and I'll actually rank them. And maybe one day I'll actually like beer rather than using it as a
I don't
fun
understand
activity.
how people like beer. It's so disgusting.
I love a beer.
But
Okay, see if you guys get this one right. The Fat Walrus.
no.
Fat walrus. I think. Oh, I don't know. I'm really struggling with this one.
I was going to be like, that's what I was called at school.
Oh. I think ChatGPT because I don't know. Like nowadays, would you be cancelled for saying fat on a pub sign?
But it was.
In respect to a walrus, no.
Oh, that's true. In respect to not.
Unless the walrus.
Yeah, I think I'm
Association.
going too deep with this.
Yeah,
I think it's real.
I think it's ChatGPT.
it's real.
Yeah.
It's in New Cross. Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, still go to the Fat Walrus.
It has an interesting origin. So the names come from the owner's desire to basically buy a site in Forest Hill, near the famous near a famous museum around there, and basically this museum's most famous resident is a stuffed walrus, and so that's where they got the name from.
Oh,
So the Fat Walrus.
it's kind of cute.
How about this next one? John the Unicorn.
No, you've got to be
John the
joking.
Unicorn. But
That's
then why would
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT come up with John the Unicorn?
'Cause
Like what
ChatG-
formula does it go?
Because it doesn't really. It's not It doesn't think. It just randomly generates words.
Oh, maybe. But I
So
thought
it's-
it would say like the bishop's finger. I know that was real, but it would say let's pick a British regal
John.
person and a
John
body
is very
part.
regal in my.
Yeah, I
opinion.
guess maybe. John the Unicorn. I think maybe in Scotland because Scottish unicorns are the national animals of Scotland.
Scotland.
So I think
Yeah.
it's real.
You think? But yeah, bearing in mind though, I said these were pubs in London.
Oh yeah.
We're so
I
bad at
completely
this
missed the game. I don't know.
ChatGPT.
Real.
It's real.
Are you joking? Are you joking?
No,
Tom?
I'm not joking. The boss's daughter had a cuddly unicorn called John, and so he named it after
Imagine finishing a day at work and be like, "All right, guys, do you want to go to John's Unicorn?"
John the Unicorn.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not John's
I
unicorn.
thought John. So
I don't
John
think
has
John
a
the
He doesn't have a little
Unicorn's much
daughter called
better.
John.
Little daughter. John.
Look. Yeah.
I-
Okay.
So is I think anyway. What scores on doors?
What score? I think I'm winning.
Yeah, I think you are winning.
I don't think so.
I stopped keeping score after
I
about
don't
three,
I
but
think
I
you're at least one ahead.
This is
Yeah.
fake news.
Okay. The quirky quail.
Oh, that's cute.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Both correct.
Yes.
The job centre.
Oh, I was there yesterday.
I'm imagining loads of people in London wanting a job and then turning up and they're like, oh,
I think
Yeah.
that's really
So much
funny.
beer.
Imagine telling
Yeah.
your partner, "Oh yeah, I'm just going down to the job centre, but yeah, she's just going to the pub." And then no, that's true. That's
can
got to be
imagine
true.
that,
that's
yeah.
got to be true. Yeah, because somebody would have
That's
thought
so
that.
funny.
He's trying really hard. He's been
Yeah.
at the job centre every
Oh,
day
yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. But I'm trying so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my
Bless.
god, please!
I
Yes,
think it's
that's
real.
true.
Yeah, it's a pub.
Yay!
It's a
Where?
Deptford High Street.
That's really funny.
So go check it out.
The job centre.
Some people reckon it's insulting, but I think other people don't care as long as they get a pint.
Yeah.
Okay, final one. I think Sophia's ahead, so...
I don't think so.
Okay, well, yes, you need this to draw.
Okay.
The Noble Oak.
The Noble Oak.
True. That sounds like a pretty decent name for a pub. Standard. Better than John's Unicorn or whatever.
I'll make this interesting. I'll say it's ChatGPT.
Human.
It's ChatGPT.
Yay.
Why?
So
I don't like this
Sophia
game.
ran away with that in the end there.
I don't like it.
This is my first ever Spot the Bot as well. I was nervous. I was like, oh, I don't think I've got... I don't think I'm very good.
Rub it in.
Yeah,
Well,
so that's this week's Spot the Bot. Congratulations, Sophia. You win coveted prize to be announced next week.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm holding you to that. Next
Your prize is
week.
a trip down the job centre.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can have a free drink at John the Unicorn.
You can buy me a couple of beers for my list. John the Unicorn. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tom. That was a brilliant Spot the Bot, as always. And we can't wait for next time.
Oh, next week.
We've got some more music for you before we close the show. So let's have some music.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
So that was Night Out.
And that's it for the show today at Science at 1:44 p.m. See you then.
So you can email us via science19@gmail.com. That's 9 written as a number. So science1one9 as a number @gmail.com. And we'll be back next week. So see you then.
Bye-bye.